and welcome to episode 4 of the podcast. Unfortunately, Zach couldn't make it today, so it will just be Chris and myself. Again, I'm Thomas. You can find me on Twitter at teases13.
And I'm Chris, and you can find me on Twitter at Bag1982.
So, uh, like the last few weeks, we will be discussing WandaVision again, the newest episode, so there will be spoilers for that episode. Another thing I'd like to talk about is leaks and leaks for future episodes. We will not be discussing any of those here. I know there are some places that do. That's not something we're going to do. We'd like to see the show as Marvel Studios intends for us to see it, releasing each week, and then we don't want or need anything really spoiled for us. And unfortunately, there is a lot of that going on right now with WandaVision. I think it's almost all off the internet, but we won't be discussing it, and be careful yourself looking out there.
Yeah, it's not something I've come across, thankfully. I'm not keen on spoilers.
Same.
It's it's one of my to be honest one of my biggest bugbears with trailers nowadays. That I think there's far too much in a trailer. I think prime example. I know this is nothing to do with WandaVision, but is Thor Ragnarok, um, where they could have quite easily just kept the Hulk out of everything. And
Yeah.
that moment, if you'd gone to the cinema and sat there, and then all of a sudden Hulk had appeared, it would have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that, which Marvel make the decision to maybe it's too hard to keep stuff like that hidden, perhaps, but certainly, yeah. I mean, getting back to One Division, I haven't read or heard anything. But Tom, you warned me, so
Yes.
I've tried to sort of stay anything where I've gone on Twitter or wherever, and I've gone right. I'm staying away. I'll um, take a step back just to try and avoid stuff like that. But is it? I think you've heard that maybe they're releasing 2 episodes.
Yeah,
Next.
that's just a rumor right now. It was tweeted from like a Marvel, I want to say Spain or Mexico account. I don't know if it was like a confirmed like they're part of Marvel or if it's a fan account that just deals with some leaks from the show, like regarding the release and stuff. So it's
Yeah,
kind of up in the air right now. I only heard about it once, so it kind of sounds like we're probably just getting the one episode next week. But
yeah.
I would be very alright to get two.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. And I guess now that we're back on track with the WandaVision topic, let's get into that episode.
Yeah. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I when we saw Spider-Man Far From Home, I'm going to say this because it kind of ties in. They did the very quick, I think it was 10, 15 seconds, that little clip of the people blipping back in the gymnasium. And
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
going to lie, I did kind of think that was all we were going to get from it. Because the Russos had kind of laid out their ideas for what they thought happened after the blip. Mind you, it's not exactly complete canon because it's whatever Feige says. But
yeah,
to actually like see this, like just the commotion in the hospital was insane. And I guess like the Russos technically weren't lying. It looked like everyone did blip back in a safe place. Like people weren't there weren't people in like multiple people blipping back into a bed that someone else is already in.
yeah, yeah. There was a lot of sort of bumping into people that were just sort of blipping back and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, there was a lot of talk of was the people who were in aeroplanes and stuff like that. But what happened to them? But I think the sort of story is that when when Hulk um, or Banner, Professor Hulk had sort of brought everyone back. He purposely brought them back in a safe way to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I'm happy to go along with that.
Yeah.
That seems to work for me.
Oh yeah.
I thought the way she came back was good. Uh, which is
Oh.
very different to Far From Home, where Far From Home it was just sort of bang, yeah, straight
Mm-hmm.
away you're there. And I know not, didn't really sort of linger on any of them moments too much, but obviously this was really good effects. And to be honest, that's how they went. So it makes sense that's
Mm-hmm.
how they came back. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I also noticed that, like, I think I saw this and I think it was a new Rockstar's video. A lot of the people in Endgame and Infinity War, when they dusted away, it was like dust. And when Monica's coming back, like, it actually just looks like it's herself piecing it back together. It doesn't so much look
Yeah,
like it's just dust coming back, which I thought that was
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I
yeah,
also like the
yeah, yeah.
little
Well,
line from Captain Marvel in there, Brie Larson's Lieutenant Trouble.
yeah, yeah. Well, actually, I watched when I watched the episode again. I watched it with subtitles on, and there's actually quite a bit of dialogue, which you don't actually hear, but with the subtitles on, that obviously it's there. And there's actually conversations between Monica and the mum Maria. Is it
Yes,
Marie?
Maria.
Yeah. There's a bit of dialogue between them. About them joining the about Monica joining the sword and stuff. So nothing massively relevant to, but it was just a nice little. I don't know why it's there as a subtitle because I played it back when I saw it as a subtitle. It's like, oh, is that worth hearing? And you couldn't really hear it,
Yeah.
but it's there as subtitles, and say it's just. But again, I thought it was a nice little nice little intro to Monica.
Yeah.
Sort of setting her up. You know, we've obviously got her backstory in some way because we know where she's come from. But to immediately dump on you that her mother's passed away, I thought that was quite like, all right, shit,
Yeah.
she's in it now, isn't she? Type of thing. This is it, and they obviously quickly move her forward 3 weeks to when she returns the sword, which obviously gets things moving pretty quickly.
Yeah. And one quick thing I noticed about Sword for sure is they've actually changed the acronym from what it is in the comics.
Yes,
So it's
yes.
well, I'm trying to think of the whole thing off the top of my head. The one in the MCU, it's sentient weapons organize. Oh, organi- I'm gonna, I'm gonna
Is it
cheat.
not world? Is it not?
No, that's what it is in the comics. It's world instead of weapons in the comics,
Yes, yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's weapons. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
which I found interesting that they'd replace the worlds with weapons, especially when we all thought that Nick Fury was on the Sword Station in
yeah,
space.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I yeah, so sentient weapons observation and response department, and then in the MC or in the comics, sentient world observation and response department.
Yeah, it's strange that they've tinkered with that for a reason. I feel that we might not find out now, but at some point, I think maybe upcoming films or whatever. I don't know. We might find out why. But yeah, there's a reason they've tinkered with that
Yeah,
because why would there? There's
yeah,
no reason.
that's what I was thinking of, and like even just I'm like we're probably gonna spend a lot of time on this beginning of the episode because I thought there was just a ton there that they're just kind of like, all right, here's Sword, here's a few things about Sword, and back. And I
Yeah,
was just like,
yeah.
okay, wait, I need to rewind a bit. Hayward, whoever he is, because he's not in the comics,
There's a
I don't like him.
there's a Haywood in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, that's the one who
Um,
tried to kill the team, right?
yeah, yeah. He was a villain in it. So whether there's a connection, I don't know. But again, why would you reuse that name?
Yeah,
It seems like a too easy a connection. You would just use a different name if there wasn't going to be a connection. So, but Marvel are very good at dropping these little things, and some things amount to stuff, and other things are just dropping in there just to get us all thinking and talking about it. So, but you didn't trust them, did you not?
I don't, and mainly for the
No,
fact that
no.
it seems like him and Monica seem to have like just some kind of relationship before. Like it more so seems like it was a working relationship, right? They work together,
Yeah,
most likely. I'm guessing kind of rivals, similar to what Yonrog and Captain Marvel were like in Captain Marvel. So I think that
Yeah,
like she was gone. Her mother ended up passing away in the time when she was gone. He just saw that as an opportunity to take over this company for his own means. I don't honestly necessarily think he's a bigger villain. I just think he's trying to undermine Monica.
yeah. There was a lot. Yeah, there was a few sort of exchange of words where he was sort of saying, yeah, like I think he refers to, oh no, I'm not head. I'm what was it, interim head and up
Yeah.
or something, and she sort of said, oh well, yeah, there was no one else to give it to, or something like that. There was a few words exchanged which got me thinking, yeah, is there something not quite right there? But I must admit, I dismissed it. I just thought, oh no, they seem to be getting on okay, so I didn't quite see it as much as a. But now you've said it, yeah, there could be, like you say, there could be something there. Perhaps that's not quite right with them.
It just seemed like he also wanted to push her away too. He didn't want her to stay at Sword. He didn't want her to. She started to question some of the things that were going on at Sword because she was like, "Oh, creation, we're doing creation now. Like
Yeah,
that's not something we
yeah,
did before." And it seems
yeah,
like he's almost just like, "All right, we know that this particular case, like there is something going on. We're gonna send you there. Hope that takes up your time, and just get you away
yeah,
from here for a bit."
yeah. It was when they were walking through. I don't know, it was like a big hangar or whatever. I was I went back a few times. I thought there must be something there. I thought there must be something there that might give us a hint at something else. Because there's a shot, the walk through, and there's a few shots, and there's looks like spaceships or whatever in the background. And then just as they move out a shot, it lingers on like a big. I think it's a spaceship. I don't know. And I'm looking, and I paused. I'm looking, and but I can't make anything out. So I don't, maybe I was looking for something that wasn't there, or I just haven't been able to pick up on something. But I don't know.
I don't think you were. I bet you there's probably gonna be something there that we're gonna see down the line, and we're gonna be like, that was it.
That
That
was
was it.
yeah,
But
maybe yeah.
and it might not maybe show up this series though.
No,
Yeah.
no, they're very good at sort of laying things sort of having things in the background which then sort of appear later on. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that would be that. Yeah, I'll be happy with that. That'd be pretty cool. So
I had
yeah,
one small theory from something he said, and I think it's been floating around too. So I know I'm definitely not the only one. He was mentioning astronauts who were going up into space before the blip, and that a bunch of them hadn't
yeah,
come back, didn't return to work.
yeah,
It started to remind me of a group of 4 people who happened to get their powers from cosmic space
yeah,
rays. That would be the
yep,
Fantastic
yep,
Four. So
yeah.
I think we've just seen how they're going to bring the Fantastic Four in.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think I think that was sort of laying a little bit of a Easter egg to what might come there. I agree. I've even seen online that, and I've looked at it, and I don't really get it myself, but the colours in the sword is in the sword building are very similar to the Fantastic Four colours, which I haven't actually picked up. I just saw online,
Black, white,
but
and
it
blue.
links into yeah, but I suppose it does link into the conversation. I think it was when they're walking down the corridor, and yeah, they had a conversation about the space program or astronaut program, something like that. And yeah, he says, yeah, we're missing a few, or there was issues. And but yeah, I was thinking, yeah, that could be that could be it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
And then right after that, so oh man, this was just such a great episode. I'm gonna say it now. Jimmy Woo is one of my favorite characters that has been brought in since Ant-Man and the Wasp, and he has mastered the card trick.
brilliant. I just had I just had such a like geeky moment.
He did it! He did it! Yes.
I've been so happy for a character just to produce a card. It was amazing.
I was thinking, I was like, I wonder how long Randall Park actually just trained to just be like, okay, I need to just.
Yeah, I need to get this done. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a very, very nice little touch. Very nice little touch.
And then
Um, I mean,
immediately after the
sorry, go.
comedy. Oh yeah, yeah, sorry. You finish your thought there.
No,
Sorry,
no,
I
no,
kind of just
no, no,
interrupted you.
no, no. That's all right. I've got it written down, so I'll be
Okay.
coming back to it. So no, you go, you go.
I was just gonna say, like, immediately after we get the bit of MCU comedy, it's right back in it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
with just like, we knew the show was gonna bend our minds, like we kind of know Doctor Strange is going to as well, again.
mm,
And
yeah.
I I don't know if I'm reaching too far, but do you think Eastview is actually real too?
Never really thought about it. I think I just dismissed it um as the cops don't. You know, they're in, although they're not in Westview. They're in the same mind trick. I don't know. That Wanda's put them under, and they've just said Eastview because it could potentially be next to Westview. I don't know. I'd never really thought about it. I think I just dismissed it as the cops don't really know what's going on, and they might have been mind tricked into saying Eastview. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think there is an Eastview there?
I don't know. I wonder if Westview actually is a real town that's being manipulated, because I know it's kind of pointing to the fact that it's all a fabrication, which we will get to. But we haven't seen any cops in Westview. So maybe these are the cops. She just sent them out and was like,
Yeah,
"You're going to keep people away from this town. Make everyone
yeah,
think they're crazy because there's no town here called Westview. You're going to say you're from
yeah,
Eastview, a town they're not going to go to because they'll be too fixated with this."
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It got me thinking when, because I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, for them cops just to go, don't know what you're on about. You know, Westview doesn't exist when there's like a big sign
Yeah,
right
I
there,
know.
and I thought it was quite clever because if that had been me, if that had been, if I'd been Monica and I'd turned up and asked that question, I would have just gone, well, what's that sign there? But obviously she's realised that Wu's obviously probably said it already, so she doesn't need to. I thought it was very
Mhm.
clever how she's obviously probably thought about it and just gone, well, there's no point me even taking this any further because we've probably done this. So, um, but it did get me thinking of, and I think even Monica mentions it. How can we, how can we realize what's going on, but they can't? And I was thinking, well, actually, yeah, is it because is it a certain distance? If you're within a 5 mile, and I think it's even mentioned on Wu's
Yeah,
board later on. It's
five
sort of
mile
half cut off,
radius.
but yeah, 5 mile radius. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but yeah, it would make sense if because it does seem that people can go in, certainly go in,
Yeah,
because Monica went in easily, the beekeeper went in easily, so you would think, why can they get in fairly easy? So other people must be able to, although Wu sort of suggests that you don't want to go in. So you must really have to have a will to go in, I suppose.
hmm,
There is some sort of force messing with your mind, telling you to stay away. Um, but yeah, the cops could have quite easily been in there, and she could have one that could have sent them out. Um, Obviously, going back to last week's episode, she's probably got it in everyone's head. If you're inside, your head's been messed up quite a bit by Wanda, so you don't want to leave anyway, or it's in your head that you can't
hmm,
leave. But it's force fields is a strange one because why don't well, we might see this next week. Why don't they all just bust in there with big tanks and everything, and
yeah,
start kicking ass? We might see that certainly on some of the clips I've seen on the trailers. That might happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's ramping up for sure. Like,
Oh
I,
yes, yeah.
back to the 5 mile radius. I was thinking that like that actually might make a lot of sense because it does look like the majority of that town's just on that one street. And if it is the 5 mile radius and it contains like a bunch more, then like it makes sense why there was a sign for Westview, because the 5 miles could extend to that freeway. Could go to
Yeah,
there. She sees the sign. She's like, oh,
yeah,
I need to go there. She's not actually going into the what's it called, to Wanda. Let's call it her
bubble.
reality. Yeah, yeah, the bubble.
Yeah,
She's not going into her
Yeah,
bubble quite yet. She's just kind of staying right alongside it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That would make sense. Yeah.
And then a big thing that shocked me: Sword has no idea what's going on either, judging from the
Yes.
4 different people they brought in.
Yeah. 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 The which is, I mean, this if I can talk a bit about Darcy and Agent Wu actually,
Yes.
because these, the more I thought about it, I think Marvel have done a really clever job with bringing these two back in, especially Darcy, because I think these are two characters, um, or two characters in this show which could have been filled by anyone. You could have had two new people here. You could have had a new Darcy, someone we didn't know who could have just sort of taken that role on. We could have had another FBI agent who could have been the link from Monica. But to bring Agent Wu and Darcy back, fans have a connection with them too. So I think it brings you on more. It brings you into the story more. Um, in the past, especially Darcy, I mean, she was okay. I thought she was all right in the first Thor, but she was like the comedy relief.
Yeah.
The second one, the second Thor, I thought not that I was bored. She was all right, but I didn't have as much time for her.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought, we're not going to see her again. And a bit like Agent Wu in Ant Man and the Wasp, he was very much the sort of the comedy relief. Very funny mind. Don't get me wrong. He was absolutely brilliantly um, put in there, but he didn't really bring much. But what I get now is that these two in particular have obviously dealt with weird stuff now. You know, in the films we've seen them in, it was very much like what's going on. Darcy was running around going, "What the hell's going on?" Agent Wu was like, "What's going on? I have no idea what's going on." But they seemed very sort of they were serious. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They were still the same characters. They were still funny in parts, but you could see they knew how serious things were now. They've dealt with stuff like this before, and I just thought it was good to have a connection like that for the viewers, who, I think if it had just been new people who they brought in, new actors for new characters, it would have felt, I don't know, a little bit stale. But because you knew them two, you had that connection, and you got
Yeah.
involved more.
And
And I
they
just thought
just
it
work
helped
so
move the
well
story
together.
along. Yes, yes, they did, didn't they? Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
amazing. Like, there's Elizabeth Olsen had some of the best acting I think I've ever seen in her career, as she usually does with
mm,
Scarlet Witch. But you just literally cannot take it apart from those two. They were amazing.
yeah,
They stole the show for
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. Well, I read something to saying that it was Monica's sort of Monica's sort of introductions, um, sort of story, and I'm thinking it wasn't really. Monica came into it at the start. It set it up for it to be Monica's sort of episode,
Hmm.
and it wasn't really. Like you say, it was Darcy and Agent Wu who took on most of the episode, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought they were brilliant. I really thought they were brilliant.
I thought they were like, just how it started out. I thought they were gonna do not the whole backstory, but just a semi backstory for Monica, so they could be like, yeah, like she's already got her powers. She's already. I don't know if she's gonna. Excuse me. I don't know if she's gonna take her mom's name and go Photon, or if she's gonna do the other name she used, Spectrum.
Yeah,
Either one,
yeah,
I'd be fine with. But
yeah,
I, I just don't. I was expecting to see her either getting powers or a tease to her maybe having some.
yeah. How did she get her powers
Oh my
in the
gosh.
comics?
I honestly I don't know off the top of my head, because I've read very few books with her in it. I think
Right.
Spectrum's. I'm trying to think, because she got her powers when she was Photon, I think, or maybe it was her mom was Photon.
Well,
I might be
mum.
in the
Yeah.
movie
Well.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. She has photons like her.
Hmm.
What's it called? Like your flying name, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
call
that was on
sign.
the wall. Call sign. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was on the wall in Sword
yeah,
building when you saw it on her name. But powers does she have? Well, what are her powers? Is it something to do with sort of energy?
yeah. It's very
Um,
similar to Captain Marvel. Um,
right.
just obviously not as powerful. It'll be more.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be different because I forgot they're gonna have her Miss Marvel, so they'll have Spectrum slash potentially Photon, Miss Marvel, and then Captain Marvel in the next Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So
Which is set before this, though, isn't it? It's set. As it,
I don't know.
oh, or is it?
I don't know yet. I don't think they've announced
Oh,
that yet.
have they not? Oh, why did I think? Oh,
I wouldn't
why
be
did I think that?
surprised because, well, personally, I think there's going to be scenes that'll flash back. Like,
Yeah.
Captain Marvel was on Earth for 5 years after the snap, and she didn't once stop in to check on her only friend that she remembered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we're probably going to get to see Maria's actual death in Captain Marvel,
Yeah. Yeah. It's possible. Yeah.
and, like, maybe that down the line. I have no idea where that movie's going to take place, though, or what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that, because yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I thought it was going to be before the events of sort of Infinity War and Endgame. I don't know why. To be honest, I even thought it might have been before Iron Man. So
Honestly, it
I
makes
thought it would have
sense.
been. Yeah, I thought. I don't know whether or not. I don't know why. I thought it would jump from the 90s to the noughties.
Hmm.
I don't know why I now think that. Maybe, maybe I think I've obviously just made it up in my head, perhaps. But
I feel like that
yeah,
just
I
makes
mean,
sense because otherwise we have 20 years we don't know where Captain Marvel did other than she was with
well,
Skrulls.
yeah, this is it. Yeah, I don't know, because I always thought that in that time, how often would have Nick Fury contacted um, Captain Marvel? It couldn't have
Exactly.
just been that one time when everyone started to blip.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That was like what 20 years previously. He must have contacted her. There must have been events that would have happened, especially before Iron Man and the rest of the Avengers came. There
Yeah.
must have been stuff that was coming up, and he thought, "Oh, yep, I better quickly contact
Hmm.
Captain Marvel, get her here," type of thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, could quite easily be set after Endgame, I suppose. But
As long as it's good.
the well, yeah, yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Oh, yeah.
We've gone a bit off topic there, haven't we?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's all right. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
probably, I don't know if it's one of my most anticipated projects, but I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Captain Marvel
Yeah.
too. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I guess
Yeah,
if we're getting back on track.
yeah. One thing I was going to actually pick up on when we met Agent Wu, and he mentions it when he first meets Monica, and then it's not mentioned for the rest of the episode. But the reason he's there is because he's got a witness in witness protection in Westview, and then it just goes quiet.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, first time I watched it, I didn't sort of pick up on it. It wasn't until I watched it again, and I was like, "Oh right, yeah, right. So why is he there for?" And okay, and then it's just not mentioned again. And then I'm thinking, could it be Agnes because her name isn't then identified on the board? And I kept in the last few podcasts, I've kept referring to her as Agatha,
Yeah.
and I should have, and I really shouldn't have because I think they've made me look silly because now it still might be, but I'm thinking actually is that Marvel just playing a massive trick on us and going, yep, he's someone here that sounds a bit like Agatha. We're going to call her Agnes. It's, you're all going to think it's Agatha, and actually it's not. And now I'm thinking, oh, that could be what they're doing. Quite easily, it might not be. It could still turn out to be Agatha, but it did make me think: is that the witness?
Yeah.
Although it's referred to, although Agent Moo refers to it as a he, as a him.
Hmm.
But then there's also Dottie, who isn't named on the board either. So then I'm thinking could be her as well. I don't know. I don't. Did you pick up on that, or did you have any thoughts on that?
I did, and I can't believe I honestly forgot about that until you brought it up. But
Yeah.
I think this missing person is Ralph.
Oh right. Okay.
I think
Oh yes. Sorry. Oh
Agnes's husband.
Agnes. Yes. Who we haven't seen yet, have we? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
think
Right.
Agnes, hers was the only one without a New Jersey license. I don't know if that means she's just not from New Jersey, or that she's not from, like, she's just not recognizable for anything Sword or the FBI or whoever else is there has.
Well, sorry, just a quick because the other thing I thought about that was that again that might just be Marvel doing a number on us, thinking, well, if we don't put any details to her, everyone's going to think she is Agatha.
Yeah.
So that might be why they've held it back. And you're right, it could just be explained quite easily.
And it probably will be, honestly. And
Yeah.
I mean, for our sake, I hope it's Agatha, just so we can be like, we told you the whole time. But
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I've tried to backtrack a little bit there and saying, oh yeah, no, it might not be anyone, but it could be. It might not. It could easily be, and it might not be. I don't know. I'm the proper throwing me with this episode with that. So
this,
yeah,
there was one big thing from the teasers that made me kind of think it still might be Agatha. And I think it was for a teaser for, I'm assuming, episode 5 or 6, because those are the next ones to come out. And it
yeah,
was Agnes kind of goes like, okay, wait, are we gonna redo that scene? And just like, kind of like, wait, hold up, what? And then
mm,
in the same scene, new people are popping up in the neighborhood.
yeah,
And it's people we haven't seen before. And it's not, they don't look like,
mm,
I don't know how to say this. Like, they don't look as friendly as the other people have been. So, smile on their face, very happy. The one person's just kind of dead, straight face, just putting something up. And I think that's
yes,
actually going to be the roots of Salem 7.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I can go along with that. It's yeah, it's a strange one, the characters in it, because they're obviously aware of what's going on. Going back to last week's episode, um, Herb obviously knows what's going on when he was sort of about to tell Vision, which makes me think, the majority of them must know. I think the Doctor, looking back, the Doctor, when he said to Vision, I think Vision says, "Oh, so you're going to Bermuda or wherever he said he was going." And he sort of says, "Oh no, I'm not going to bother because we can't get out of little towns type of thing." So he obviously knew. So they obviously know what's happening, but are scared to do anything about it. Maybe, um, or maybe. Well, I say that, but they were worried about Monica being there as well, though, weren't they? They were worried about Monica being um, with Wanda
But was
in the
it the
house by
entire
themselves.
town, or was it only Agnes and maybe Agnes projecting that onto Herb?
Wanda Herb, maybe. Yeah, yeah.
Because like,
Yeah. See,
it's just so hard, man.
yeah. See, by the end of this episode, um, I was I'd sort of dispelled any sort of Agatha and Salem 7. I was just like, actually, no, I don't think any of them are in play now. I think it's just purely Wanda, just massively grieving and just thinking this. I created this bubble and just like I don't want anything else. This is where I'm happy. I've got my husband, got my kids. I don't want anything to spoil. And the way she dispelled Monica, I thought, no, this is just her just massively grieving and just wanting to be in a nice, happy bubble where everything's going right for her. And that's it. I just thought, actually, no, it might Agatha and the rest, no, they've got nothing to do with it. I mean, I say that the more I've thought about it, they could still have Agatha
Yeah,
there, sort of twisting things and whatever.
It's just you can really tell Marvel wants us to confuse ourselves.
Yeah,
Like they do it for every single film. Of course, they're gonna continue it on TV.
yeah,
like
yeah. It's
there's so many possibilities. Just before we move on to let's say the absolute creepiest part of the show so far, do you want to talk about the whiteboard for a bit and some of the things that were written on there?
yes, yes. Because I trying to write some of them down. But I thought it was pretty cool that Agent Will was basically writing down what we were probably all thinking.
I was like, oh,
Just
they're making
what's
fun
this?
of us.
I've got them here. What we don't know. Why
Yeah,
hexagon shapes? We've been talking about that. Why sitcoms? Which I suppose, yeah,
yeah.
why sitcoms? Um, same time and space. That's not something we've really talked about actually. Whether or not it is set. I think we just sort of assumed it would be set in present
Mm-hmm.
day, and it was just Wanda. But it's I could see why Agent Wu is thinking, especially when they sort of tap into the TV feed, and obviously it's set in the '60s. You can automatically think, well, oh, is this? Are we just watching something from the '60s here,
Yeah.
perhaps? You know what I mean? So I can sort of understand that. And then the last one, I think he was actually writing it on the board at the time. Is Vision alive? Which is a fair question.
Yeah.
I'm back and forth with that at the moment. I don't
So
know
am
where
I.
you stand. Yeah.
I yeah. I think he's a bit of both.
Mm, mm. I've got a bit of a theory.
Let's hear it.
I think, like you, bit of both. I think what's kicked all this off, and I think the right at the end where she sort of turns and it's grey vision with obviously the stone out the head. I think she's got the body in Westview, and she's just projected from there.
Yeah.
If this is sort of 3 weeks after Endgame,
Mm-hmm.
then you know the body must be around somewhere.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
they must have had the but in Wakanda. So it makes perfect sense that she's getting the body. Well, no, this is obviously a theory, but it seems plausible that she's got the body,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, she's grieving and just gone from there. And yeah, whether or not he's fully alive or what, I don't know the sort of status of his of his living ability at the moment, but I think he seems to be the key to breaking everything because he's starting to
Yeah.
realise that that end scene
Oh my
where
god, that was creepy.
yeah, there was just certain looks from Vision, and you just think he know he knows here, but he knows not to say anything. That's what I got.
Mm-hmm.
It's like shit. If I say something here, this could go badly. So I'll just okay, right. I'll just play along. But you could see in his face that he and I think when they sit down right at the end, and they both look at the babies, and then he looks up, and he just has I don't know. I might be reading far too much into it, perhaps, but it just seems that
Yeah.
it's like yeah, I know something's going on here.
Yeah, like
Um,
he looks disturbed.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then I,
yeah,
I don't I might be looking way too far into this, but it seemed like right on the end, they're on the couch, they do that little look. It looks like he keeps glancing over at Wanda to make sure everything's okay with her. Then when they both
yeah,
look up to the TV, she looks at the TV and Vision looks above it, right
yeah,
into the camera.
yeah, 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 yeah. I noticed that. There was something, yeah, something shifty going on, and it's I suppose looking back, because I think I asked I sort of posed the question last week of why when the beekeeper turned up, did she reset things, whereas with Monica, she just got rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think looking back, I think it's because Vision wasn't there. She can reset things when Vision's there because he'll not remember it, or hopefully not remember it. Whereas because Vision wasn't there, she could just get rid of she could get rid of Monica, and then just, oh yeah, she's gone home type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, Now she can't get rid of Vision. Vision's pretty crucial to her bubble,
Hmm.
if we're calling it that. But yeah, I think things are starting to. I think if Sword can get to Vision, that might be the way in, because certainly they can't get her through Wanda. I can't see how anything's gonna stop her. To be honest.
Yeah. Like she looks like she loses her mind a bit, gets lost in this reality, then gets brought back into it by something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's almost like a hatred for the reality that, like, not only the one she doesn't control, but like that's the reality where she lost her brother, her parents, her
yeah,
husband bought. Like it it's awful. Like that, like, yeah, that sucks. And especially, like, I agree with the theory. I think she was given Vision's body at the end. I do think someone's still manipulating her though, because the broadcast is still censored.
yes. Well, yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a because they sort of make the point of saying, who's censoring it, and you think, well, why would she censor us, type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If she's resetting things because there's interference from the outside, because is that the bits? They're the bits that were censored, weren't they?
Yes, there was the one with Dottie when Agent Wu talks to him. You never see her break the glass on the sword thing. She
That's
just
right.
has
Yeah,
it goes from you hear, Wanda, can you hear me? And then the next thing
yeah,
she has the linen on her hand. Pop question,
yeah.
Wanda.
Yes, yes. But yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. I don't. Yeah, and the more I think about it, probably Wanda isn't censoring it. It is someone else. So yeah, yeah, yeah. That's that. What I thought was a big thing in terms of going forward in the MCU, and probably these are the links to Doctor Strange and Spider Man, was the. Hold on, I wrote it down because I can't remember off the top of my head. Or the links to cosmic microwave background radiation,
Yes.
which is leftover stuff from the Big Bang, big universe stuff. I think is
Yeah.
the thing, and that's where the sort of the TV feed was hidden in
Hmm.
amongst that. Which I think if Wanda can tap into that, that's pretty big. She's obviously connecting to the universe on a big scale, which leads on to huge, or could lead on to huge ramifications in terms of the multiverse. I think that's where I see that going. They've sort of
Yeah.
dropped a few breadcrumbs there, just to sort of say this is where we're going with this, which we sort of know anyway. We've been
Yeah.
told that it's going to link into the multiverse, so it's not a. I don't think it's a massive sort of spoiler or anything in that sense, but it's just something else which they
Yeah.
sort of
There's
hinting
just,
at.
oh, I love this show so much. There's just a year without Marvel sucked, but in four, no, not even 4 weeks, 3 weeks, they've given us more than I think we could have even wanted in 2020.
I completely agree. I completely. I sort of think, would Black Widow have been like this good? I'm not saying it would have been a bad film, but by any stretch of the imagination. But would we have been talking so much in detail about certain things? I mean, maybe we would have. I don't know,
Yeah.
but this just seems to have so many, which we've been told it has got connections to other areas of the MCU, but
Yeah.
there's so much going on, so much to talk about. And
Hmm.
I suppose we've gone off a bit in a tangent there. We were talking about Agent Rue's whiteboard.
I mean, hey.
Was there anything else that I went through the ones that I'd written down in terms of what we didn't know. There was other
Oh,
little things
yes.
on there. I mean, do you want to talk about them, Tom?
The one big one I would like to, because we did cover the 5 mile radius and
Yeah,
kind of talked about the other few things. There was
yeah,
one section where you can't really see, but it's basically asking who's responsible for this, like who's doing it to them. In brackets with a question mark, Skrulls,
yeah,
meaning not just the Avengers and Sword, but also the FBI knows what Skrulls are.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's. Well, I don't know where they're going with this because the Secret Invasion is sort of well, we're getting a Secret Invasion, aren't we? TV program. So, um,
Oh,
I don't know. It might just be a little Easter egg. You know, we'll stick
yeah.
scrolls on the board. I can't see how it connects at all to this. I'll be honest. There's so much else to be, that could feed into WandaVision.
Yeah.
We've talked about Agatha. We've even talked about AIM, which I think, I'll be honest, a complete that to me that's been quashed now. I don't think AIM are going to be involved, but
We'll see.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think having trying to introduce the scrolls into it, I don't know.
It's a bit
I
too
don't get the
much.
connection. So, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
get the connection. To me, it's just a little Easter egg. Almost stick scrolls on the board.
Yeah, I wonder if it's almost to get us prepared just to be like they're known about now. Like this isn't just like top secret, highly classified stuff. Well, I mean it might be, but like multiple organizations like have knowledge of them. This isn't like the first Avengers attack where everyone was like, "Did this really happen? Were there aliens in New York?" kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
now it's like
yeah,
it's accepted. They're like, "Yeah, we know what this is. Like we have research on it, apparently dating back to the 90s." So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there could just be, like you say, just dropping little hints like that. It I never really thought about it like that though. I just saw the schools and thought, oh, that's pretty cool to have on the board. But I never thought about, yeah, you've got multiple sort of agencies now that know about them. Um, yeah, yeah, interesting that one.
and
Um,
this isn't exactly a WandaVision thing. And honestly, it's not even really a Marvel thing. The Super Bowl is on. Actually, I guess it will be partially a Marvel thing. The Super Bowl is on tonight, probably around the time this is premiering. Might have to premiere it a bit earlier today.
yeah,
But anyways, there will definitely be new teasers for Marvel stuff. Like I think we're supposed to get, I think it's a Loki, Shang Chi, maybe Eternals, probably not, but maybe, and I think Falcon and Winter Soldier. So we're supposed to get a
okay,
tease of some sort for at
yeah,
least two of those tonight.
that'd be cool. That'd
So,
be
so I will be staying up to watch those.
cool.
Not the game,
There'll be
but the
long.
commercials.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Zach.
I'll be well in bed. I'll be well in bed by that point.
I'll
At least
probably be
time for you.
wishing I was. No
Yeah,
offense to any
yeah,
football fans. It's not my forte. The Leafs jersey in the back should show you a Canadian represents hockey.
yeah. And it's soccer over here.
Yeah,
So,
the real football, you mean?
well, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm probably doing my country injustice. It's football over here. It's not soccer. It's football.
Yeah. I mean,
Like you
hey,
actually play with your feet.
yeah, most people around like my city too, like all the like soccer clubs are they're football clubs. That's what they're called.
Yeah, yeah. Football. That's what it is.
We're transitioning, you know. It takes the Americas a bit, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Good, good. Okay, right. Where are we at? What have I got? Um. Yeah. Hold on a second.
All
Oh,
right.
the beekeeper. The
Oh,
beekeeper.
yeah.
Any theory we had? Well, I don't know, but any theory we had of him, of the beekeeper being, I don't know, a villain or aim or whatever else, that just seemed to be completely dashed. The only thing I would say is what's happened to him.
Yeah.
We don't, we don't know what's happened to him.
And like he went in the episode before Monica got tossed out too, right? if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, he
Yes,
went in.
yeah. Because that was episode 2, I think, when we saw the beekeeper.
So he should have actually been ejected before Monica was ejected, but there was never that sound saying anyone had left because he was underground and they don't know it goes subterraneously.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing with that is he it was just reset. It wasn't. How was it reset again?
Did she just say no when
Wanda
it
did what?
rewinded?
What? Yeah. It rewinded. I said reset. It just rewinded.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Did they hear something and then they went outside, and then she rewound it, and then they just didn't hear it again? I can't remember exactly how it happened, but that just got me thinking. The few times that she has reset things, it resets and then it just plays out differently. So that got me thinking. Well, the beekeeper, if it was reset back to like 5 seconds before that, he would have just been reset to back in the tunnel. So he still would have emerged. Is my thinking.
Yeah.
He wasn't expelled. He wasn't sent out. He was just reset 5 seconds previous or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me think he could still possibly be there perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed very strange that they just didn't seem to. They sort of
Follow up.
explained,
Yeah.
yeah, they sort of explained who the beekeeper was. He's a sword agent, but then what's happened to him? And I know he was given a name. I think it was an Agent Franklin. I think his name was.
Yeah.
But other than that, we have no idea who he was. He wasn't given a face or anything. I think he already had the gear on when he went down, so he's very sort of dispendable. You know what I mean? But saying that, it just seems very, very strange for someone like for a Marvel program not to tie that up in some way and go, well, actually, this is what happened to him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying he's a big part in all this, but I still think we might see him later.
Yeah.
Whether it's next episode or whatever, because it just seems very strange. Or certainly we might find out what happened to him. I don't know. Maybe they find him in the tunnel dead or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And he's just stuck in a loop, just going in and out, in and out.
Yeah,
Oof.
possibly. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a. I want to say, I really wanted him to be Swarm. I'll say it. Like it's not a big character. I'll just take every powered character I can see.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Yeah.
even if he is in that reality still, do you think maybe because a lot of people were saying they thought he was the ice cream man from episode 3, I believe, but I don't really. Oh, was it episode 3 from that intro?
Yeah. From the intro when they were having ice creams. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Episode 3. Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that's him because that's a different actor than the guy who played the beekeeper. I
Right.
I kind of think he might pop up in town.
Yeah. I mean, it's a strange one because Monica goes in and she obviously doesn't know who she is in there.
No.
You know what I mean? She's been in there for I don't know how long, whatever time period she's in there for, until she starts interacting with Wanda and whatever. She obviously doesn't have a home, so it's a little bit weird about where they all, are they actually living in a normal time stream in there, or things just must just be jumping like a sitcom maybe. I don't know. It's strange.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yet the beekeeper goes in and I mean I said this in the podcast for that episode that they seem very scared of him. That the way they set up that scene in that episode 2, I think it was, that Wonder and Vision seem to be very scared of him. Yet now it turns out he's just a sword agent. What? Why did she have to reset it? Well, I suppose she reset it because she knew that he was obviously a threat. Maybe I don't know, but surely he doesn't know who he is now. Now he's gone in there,
Yeah.
bit like Monica.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gone in.
That's kind of what they've laid out for us, right?
yeah, that's I don't know.
Because
This is yeah. Sorry, go on.
I just found it odd because it even seemed like he was completing his, he crossed through, he was in. It didn't seem like he was altered, at least from what we noticed, other than like his mic was cut off, his costume had changed. He got up, like he got up out of the sewer. It seemed like he was gonna continue his mission. He really
He
only
did.
looked over once he noticed Vision go, Wanda, who's that? And he
Yeah.
just kind of like quickly like turns alarmed.
But like you say, he looks quite sharp. Like it wasn't like a what's going. It was like a.
Mm-hmm.
It was like what you know. He like you say. He sort of knew he was there. His mission was still like he knew what he was doing. But I don't know. It just. But then that feeds back into what all the other characters in there do. You know the other town people, like a Herb
Yeah.
um, what's the Vision's boss from the first episode and his wife. You know all
Mr. Hart.
those that. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Hart. You know, you've got those. Did they know that they, you know, or is it if you spend more time there, you start to get to realise that actually things aren't right. I don't know. It's. I hope it. I'm assuming it will all get explained down
Yeah.
the line, but it's interesting how the sort of characters in her bubble are acting. Like you say, they're not all acting the same.
Yeah.
And I thought the beekeeper and Monica are two brilliant examples where, like you say, beekeeper seemed to know exactly what he was doing. You know, he was the way he came out of the road. He seemed to know that he was still on the mission, whereas obviously Monica's been in there for however long, um, and she's just slowly start to realise. Uh, Also interesting that when you get kicked out, you still keep your clothes. That when you go in, you
Yeah.
obviously get your clothes changed. When you come out, you keep them. which,
It's like, all right.
which, yeah. But I suppose that's in a way that could be a worry that she can influence things on the outside. You know, things are happening in the bubble, but she can also influence things after. Oh, that reminds me. That reminds me. The um the drone that they send in. That obviously turns out to be the helicopter, the toy helicopter. I thought the colours, because we originally said, I don't know if it was Zach or yourself, Tom, that said, oh, it reminded them of Iron Man.
Yeah.
But the drone, when she picked it out, it reminded me of Captain Marvel's
Marvel. Yeah.
colours. Yeah. Which I thought it was easy, obviously probably easier to recognise because of the connection with Monica. But it was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, that's Captain Marvel's colours. Cool.
And I
Um,
wonder if they did that too because like Monica did help Carol pick her suit color, right? Which
yeah,
that
yeah.
was a pretty cool touch. So I wonder if maybe she had a little hand in designing these drones as well. And
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah,
the only reason Wanda may have changed it is because she's trying to change it to something that's more familiar to her. So the colors, it's a different organization. She still is treating it like Shield, something foreign, something that like is threatening her or did threaten her at a point. But she
yeah,
wants to reference it to the Iron Man, the red and yellow, because she knows that's real.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's going to be interesting where the next episode takes us.
Oh yeah,
And no no sort of hints of Quicksilver or which I thought we might have gotten something this episode.
I was sure
Given
of it.
what was sort of talked about. Yeah. But I suppose this. I mean, it was essentially a recap, wasn't it, of the
Hmm.
first three episodes, but a very good recap
Yeah,
from the outside, the real world. So,
maybe
um,
going forward we'll get something. I'm fingers crossed. I really do want to see Aaron Taylor Johnson back. That that's just me.
yeah, yeah. The whole what's his name? The other Quicksilver,
Evan
Evan
Peters.
Peters. Yeah, the whole sort of link with him being there's. I don't know if it's sort of muddied things a bit because I don't think they need to. I don't think they need to bring him in as Quicksilver. The more I think about it, I know fans are probably would geek out massively if like thinking, if if Evan Peters came in as the Quicksilver, has that crossover from the X-Men and
Yeah.
different universe. I get that it would be awesome, but I think it would take something away from the whole WandaVision where you've got you've got Wanda, you've got Vision. It's them two. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to move too far away. They're already bringing in a lot of interesting stuff,
Yeah.
and yeah, just bring in the Quicksilver that we've already had in the
Mm.
MCU for me. I think that's where they need to stick to. I don't know if you have different thoughts. You might want to see Evan Peters. I don't know. What's your sort of stance on
Um,
that?
I really like Evan Peters as an actor. However, I enjoyed him in the X-Men movies, but I very much preferred Aaron Taylor Johnson because I felt that
Yeah,
he was more true to the Quicksilver character, even though he was
yeah,
in half a movie. Like,
yeah, yeah,
I think it'd be cool for Evan Peters to appear. I don't think he should be the Fox Quicksilver version. I think Marvel needs to kill the Fox universe as quickly as they can so they can move on and do their own thing with mutants. So I think just having him be the
yeah,
Fox version, if that's what they end up doing, is just, I don't think that's it.
yeah. Couple of points there, which I think I agree on. The Aaron Taylor Johnson, I think he needs. I like him as an actor,
Oh,
and I think, you know, I was a little bit like, especially at the time, because I wasn't a massive Hawkeye. Hawkeye to me is actually getting more interesting, but at the time, I was like, just kill off Hawkeye. I'm not bothered. I want to see I want to see more Quicksilver. Who cares about Hawkeye?
yeah.
In a way, I'm glad because I think Hawkeye's going in an interesting way.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I want more of Aaron Taylor Johnson as Quicksilver. So I would like to see him back. So I agree with you on that point. I also agree with you on the Fox. Just scrap it. Just draw a line under it. But that's reluctantly in a way because there's a lot of characters in there which I would like to see more of. Um,
Yeah.
but you kind of bring some back and not others. Just scrap the lot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's yeah, start again type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be pretty happy for Evans Peters to come in. It's just a completely just new character, just him as an actor bringing on a new role type of thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to have a connection to his previous Quicksilver.
Yeah.
But that in itself, why have Marvel asked for him to come? If they've obviously seeked him out, you would have thought. He's not an actor which okay, he might go in for jobs or go in for acting
Yeah.
jobs that he might want, but surely with this, Marvel's probably come to him and gone, look, we need you for this
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. You know what I mean? And the connections with Quicksilver are just far too great to not go there if he's going to be in it. So. I mean, has it been confirmed he's going to be in it or not? I don't think it's been officially confirmed, has it? I don't
Not
think.
officially. There was a leakish kind of thing
Yeah,
from, I think it was around a year ago now. Something in
yeah,
Italy, I think it said, or was it Italy or France, something like that, and it had said it was gonna air, or not Aaron Taylor Johnson. Actually, yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson and Evan Peters were both gonna be in it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it didn't say what kind of role,
yeah.
which makes me wonder, could they make Evan Peters? I'm starting to think less and less that it's going to be Ralph is going to be Mephisto. I think Evan Peters might be Ralph. Um, I don't know who Ralph is anymore. I don't know if he's going to be Mephisto or if he's going to be Nightmare. Is he going to be someone else? Could he be a version of
Yeah,
Kang?
yeah. This is it. I'm obviously I'm jumping back and forth for every episode, and last week I was convinced that Mephisto was going to be in it. Mephisto was going to be Ralph. Yeah, uh, Agnes is Agatha. I was convinced, and now I'm actually like, oh no, I think Marvel might just be playing it. trick on us type of thing, the hinting, but this is Wanda's gig. She's massively created this, but that being said, and I think you've mentioned that there is something there, sort of probably controlling, and it probably will be Agatha. But I don't know. There's a lot. I'll probably change my position next week.
Same.
So, yeah. It's going to be interesting. Talking about Hawkeye, actually, Jeremy Renner had put on his Twitter page, put just a picture of, I don't know if you've seen it. It's literally just, I think it's, I don't know if is it him? Something with his, I don't know what they call, where you keep your arrows in the back, like arrow pouch.
Sure. Yeah.
It was just a picture. I wonder if I can get this up.
I'm gonna try
Yeah,
to
it was
find this
literally
too.
just a picture of him holding that. I think it was just because I think they've started I think they started filming the Hawkeye. Let's see if I can find this.
Oh, that's
But that was
interesting. Here, I can put this in the
that,
link for anyone who wants, or in the description for anyone who wants to look at it.
which got is that Shield on it?
That's the Shield logo.
Shield logo. I mean, the Shield's still going.
I wonder if that's flashback.
Could be. Yeah, could be. I mean, it's just what he put on it. A good day's done.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously just him being, they're obviously filming it,
Yeah.
but I just thought it's an interesting, and that got me thinking of possible connections with WandaVision, because I think one or two things could potentially happen. I think we could see Hawkeye maybe towards the end. I still think there's a connection between Hawkeye and Wanda that could be useful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly convinced that, and this will probably be right at the end, that we'll get Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Because, with all this weird shit that's going on, who are you going to turn to? There's only Doctor Strange that you turn to.
Yeah.
And he's still there. You know what I mean? He came back, so why hasn't anyone sort of contacted him and gone? That Wanda who who you sort of Avenger with for a few weeks ago. Well, she's gone batshit crazy, so can you come and help out?
Please.
Yeah. Or maybe it comes onto his radar as things get more sort of out of control, perhaps, and that's when he sort of comes and steps in. I don't know.
I have a little theory about who else may appear.
Go on then.
There's a character who's actually debuting this year on Disney Plus, Miss Marvel. She is based in New Jersey as well. I can't remember the exact town, but she is based in New Jersey. She's an Inhuman too, and the Inhumans are a really iffy thing for the MCU since Perlmutter decided to take it, put it on ABC, and then ruin them. So
was it not very? Were they not very good? I haven't
it
watched them.
it's on Disney Plus. If you want to fall asleep to something, you could watch that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, that's all good. Honestly, like the Inhumans should have been introduced a while ago. They weren't. Like they were Marvel's original replacement for the X-Men once Fox had those rights. I wonder if they're gonna do something with the Terrigen bomb that ends up giving not Wanda, Kamala Khan, so Miss Marvel, her powers. I wonder if they're gonna change it a bit and it'll be some kind of bomb from Wanda's town she's made once it's either erased or I don't know, destroyed, I guess.
Yeah.
And maybe the release of that's how they're going to bring Inhumans into it, and they'll say, oh, that was actually Terrigen Mist that was going through, and it just so happened to react with this Inhuman. And by the way, Inhumans exist.
Yeah. Are they bringing? Do you think they want to bring Inhumans into it then?
No. To say the least, I don't think they do just after the show. But
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
bringing Miss Marvel in, you really have to, because it's just such a
yeah.
big part of, like, she's an Inhuman.
I think she is. Yeah,
They could make her
yeah.
a mutant, but uh, it's changing a big part of
See,
her.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is one of the many questions, that will be answered over the next however many years. The big one: how they're gonna introduce X-Men and mutants into it. But in similar sort of vein, you've got Inhumans as well, who it's how do you get all these involved really? Maybe the answer is WandaVision. That might be
Yeah,
the answer. Um, I don't know. We'll see.
this
Certainly
series.
interesting.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
No, no, go on.
No, no, no. All you.
Yeah, no, I think I was wrapping up there.
Okay. Sorry. I was just gonna say. I, I find it weird how this show wasn't talked about originally. Like it was gonna be a huge deal, but it
Yeah.
seems more and more that this is just expanding the universe a lot more than it seems like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Loki will.
Yes, certainly. You're right. Because this wasn't going to be the original. Was it? It wasn't always going to be this one. It was going to be Winter Soldier. Was
Yeah.
sorry, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That
Yeah, and
it was.
Black
They
Widow.
were going to. Yeah, they were going to start with him, weren't they? And yeah, this certainly seems, and I can see why they were going to start with Falcon and the Winter Soldier for the TV stuff, because that seemed like a safer bet in terms of it just seemed to be like an all-out action type of TV show, that any fan or any not even a Marvel fan, but anyone could dip into and enjoy. Whereas this is very much for the fans. You need to know, you need to watch the films to get what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that being said, looking at it now, it's like, how could they have led with anything else? It makes me think there's probably not going to be. There might be very few connections between WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
If that was going to come out first, then I can't imagine there's not going to be any connections there. But yeah, WandaVision certainly opening up a lot of stuff. And yes, we know the connections with, or we're being told there's going to be connections with Doctor Strange and Spider Man. It seems to be the more WandaVision, as the episodes roll out, because I thought, oh, is it just going to be like a slight connection with these films? But the more it looks now, they're gonna, it's gonna big stuff that we're finding out now.
Yeah.
That's going to lead into them films. I still find the Spider-Man connection that we've been told there's a connection. Still find it interesting. The Doctor Strange stuff. I get that. It can.
Mm-hmm.
I get how that would feed sort of directly into that. But the Spider-Man. I mean, maybe Sony wanted some sort of connection, some sort of teaser to get. But why else would they tell us? Again,
Yeah.
this is going back to my little frustration about why do they keep telling us too much? You know what I mean? It could have been a nice surprise in Spider-Man to all of a sudden see whatever multiverse, if we're going to get the multiverse or the Spider-Verse, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's yeah. Going back to your point though, Tom, WandaVision is creating a lot of chat and a lot of sort of options for future
Mm-hmm.
films and maybe the TV slots. Because I mean Loki could bring about quite a bit. It's got that potential
Oh
to,
yeah.
if it wants to, I suppose. Yeah.
It almost seems like they're trying to pair them up with some movies. It seems like, well, not seems like, we know WandaVision's going to be more or less paired with Spider-Man 3 and 100% paired with Multiverse of Madness. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, apparently there's some ties to the Black Widow movie.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't
Yeah, that
know
makes sense.
how deep or
Yeah.
how significant even, but there are apparently. And then, honestly, even Loki, they're doing a lot of stuff with what seems to be time travel. Makes me think that might have something to do with the third Ant-Man movie.
yes, I never thought about that. Yeah,
But
yeah. See, yeah. Mm. I mean, this is what this is what we want,
yeah,
don't we? We want one of the was never well. I was going to say frustration. It wasn't a frustration, but you had films, sorry, programs like Agents of Shield, which the first couple of series tied into certainly the events of Captain America. I think it was Winter Soldier. Um, but then I think they sort of realised things are getting a little bit out of hand here. We don't, how we're connecting things. So they just thought we'll just forget about the films. We'll just go off on our own, do our own thing. Fair enough, understand that. Um, but now it's you got full on TV mingling with the films and stuff. I think it's brilliant,
yeah.
absolutely brilliant.
Same here.
And how the hell they're keeping track on everything is, I mean, Feige is just unbelievable. It can't just be him. He must have a team,
Oh my
teams
gosh.
and teams of people
Yeah.
going, oh, actually, no, Feige, we can't do that because we said that like 10 years ago in Iron Man 1, so we cannot do that. Oh, well, what if we do it this way? Yeah, that'll fit in. It's just unbelievable how everything's just sort of connecting together. I
It's
don't know how they're
awesome.
doing it.
Yeah. I would,
Yeah,
if anyone could do that, they would. It just shows just the gift that he has and just what they're. Oh, I can't
yeah.
praise them enough for it.
No, no. I must admit, I mean, I was always a big sort of film fan before the MCU, and then as they started sort of coming out, I sort of because I was always into sort of superhero stuff. Like I've said before, I was never into comics, but I was always quite enjoyed sort of superhero films. Going back to the original Supermans and then probably Blade
Yeah.
and then the first couple of X-Men. Certainly the first couple of Spider-Mans as well.
Hmm.
But then when the MCU got introduced and the more it sort of took off, just unbelievable. To be able, like you say, to be able to do something this big. Um, this is why all the stuff that's coming up. I mean, I thought they had a hard job before, but now with Fantastic Four and X-Men and introducing Blade, I did not think Blade would come back.
Oh,
I
neither
thought
did
that'd be
I.
perfect. I just thought that's because I thought Wesley Snipes did that very well. Certainly the first two, anyway. The third one wasn't as good, but yeah, I just didn't think that would be something that they would tap back into, especially with everything else they've got on the plate. But
Yeah.
hey, bring it on.
Yeah, honestly, it's just like you can tell they're going like they have their plan for their Avengers level kind of people, the cosmic
Yeah,
people, and then the obscurity, which I'm going to throw
yeah,
Deadpool in with them.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Again, he's another property I've probably talked about before on the podcast. That um, ideally, I think he just suits just being just and it's similar with Blade, I suppose. Just have their own have their own films. Do they really need to connect? But certainly Deadpool I think would be very good in team up.
Oh yeah.
I'm not quite sure how that would work with Blade, but um, I don't know. I don't know how it worked. Did Blade ever team up in
Hmm.
in the comics? Yeah,
I think
was
he's
that?
on the Avengers right now.
Oh, really? All
I
right. Okay.
think. I have to double check that. He definitely was though for a time, if he's not still. He
Yeah.
also there's like the not like Monster Hunter Squad or like Vampire Hunters, but like just like the more like I guess you'd say like they're the Monster Hunters. Blade, Morbius. Oh, there's a few others who was in that kind of group. It'll come to me probably tomorrow, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's in a team like that as well. So he does get around the universe a lot in terms of where he's which team he's on.
Yeah.
And he might
Yeah.
get around in other ways too, but hey man, they don't write about that.
Yeah. It's yeah. It's be interesting to see where they go with this now, because obviously previously we've just had the original six, which was quite easy to deal with. You know what I mean? And then obviously building up to Endgame. They've introduced a lot of characters, and as we've talked about before, you know, did it very well with Endgame. terms of bringing everyone together. But now you're introducing a lot more characters, and do you purposefully keep people apart and go, look, yeah, well, these are, like you're saying, maybe a cosmic group. We'll keep them over there. They'll not interact with them. I don't know, the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, or do you again bring them all together in one big event? I don't know. It's I'm not saying, I don't think I particularly want another Endgame event. If that makes sense. Is Don't get me wrong, as awesome as that was, and it's probably one of the best sort of cinema experiences I've had probably ever.
Yeah.
It is, and don't get me wrong, I would like to see something amazing again. I just don't think doing it the same way would have the same effect. Or would it with different characters? I don't know. I would just like to think that they'll do something. I don't know what the answer is, but I'd like to think that they do something a bit different,
Yeah.
a bit cleverer. But that's, I have no idea what that could be. But that's not for me. That's for Marvel to come up with that idea. There you go, Marvel. Just come up with a better idea than Endgame.
I
Is
I
that
I,
possible?
I don't know about that. I do have a small theory. If they do Secret Wars, which kind of seems like they might be,
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna do one full year will be the Secret Wars year. So Disney Plus movies, all that, it's gonna all tie in. There's gonna be characters appearing in every single one of these shows on each platform.
Yeah.
I think that's how they're gonna do the next big team up. And probably at the end, we'll see, but I'd say they'll probably reset the universe. But that's, mind you, 15 years away at this point, so. And a
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah. 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 It's yeah. There's a lot can happen, isn't it? It's we could probably talk all night to be fair
Yeah,
about this stuff.
we
Uh,
definitely could.
yeah. But anyway, should we get back to WandaVision? Went off on a
Yeah.
massive tangent there. I mean, have you got anything else to talk
Um,
about?
I don't
No,
think so for right now. Yeah, I did touch on Wanda, or not Wanda, sorry, Maria possibly being in Captain Marvel 2, correct? Like her actual
yes.
death scene?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was the big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. 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 I don't think there's anything else from. Oh, one little thing which I've noticed on the Marvel logo at the start, where you've got all the characters sort of interacting. Spider-Man's not there anymore, which I
Oh,
just thought. I just thought, is that I just don't know why Spider-Man would not be there. um, he's a favourite, so why have they taken Spider-Man out? I don't know if they've done it on whether it's something to do with Sony, or I don't know, or they're just refreshing the characters.
I
I don't
wonder
know,
if it's
but
Sony. And Sony wants to like charge them royalties for each time Spider-Man appears on something like that.
oh, yeah,
That would
yeah,
suck.
yeah. I wondered if it was a Sony connection. But yeah, just when it was coming up again, I thought there used to be one of Spider. I think it was when he stole Cap's shield or something. Is it that bit? I'm sure there was that bit on the
Yeah.
Marvel logo bit where you see his face. I'm sure it was that scene. Anyway, but that's not there anymore now, and I've watched it a few times. And no, he's not there. Can't see him unless someone else can. I've missed it. I don't know. Um,
We'll have
but
to
yeah,
double
yeah.
check.
Just thought that was interesting. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably
Okay.
Sony. We'll blame it on them.
Blame Sony.
Yeah.
It's their fault.
All right.
So, what? I suppose just before we go, should
Yeah.
we theories for next week, or is this
Ooh.
is it? Should we not talk about? I mean, because you've seen some of the stuff,
I've
haven't you?
seen a picture, pretty much,
Right.
which
Right. Okay. Yeah.
was a lot, believe it or
Right.
not, but I think I can theorize enough about the next week.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I think we're gonna split time now between um the WandaVision reality and like the sword reality that we are seeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's probably just gonna be 10 because 15 minutes around so of each, like for screen time per episode. I'm not saying that it'll actually just be right in half 15-15, but I just think it makes more sense. You've introduced both sides now. Both sides are obviously going to be working at the same time, so
Yeah, yeah, I think I'd agree. It wouldn't make sense to jump back and forth. Have it would be weird if we just had another episode. If we jumped to an episode now of just WandaVision world,
yeah.
and not knowing what was going on the outside, because we would know that sort of watching and that they would be doing. And to be honest, what can they do now in WandaVision that we've seen 3 episodes where really them 3 episodes were just building up to something. They were teasing us with different things, the beekeeper, this and that, Woo's voice on the radio, different things. We're like, what's going on, what's going on? And we sort of know what's going on now. There's still a lot of questions,
Yeah.
but we know sort of on the outside trying to, well, trying to, they're trying to figure out what's going on. But I think it's going to be anything weird that happens in sort of Wanda's world now, we're sort of going to go, well, yeah, that's probably Sword doing something on the outside. So we might as well see what Sword's doing on the outside. So, yeah, I think you're right. It makes sense that we'll get like a 50-50 split of
Mm-hmm.
this is what we're going to do, this is what's happening on the inside, and and vice versa, I suppose. Um, I certainly think things are gonna ramp up now. I know there's been a lot of criticism online. Not one of my criticisms. I've been quite happy with the first 3 episodes. But I think a lot of maybe not the call. I'm putting us in this category, Tom. The sort of the geeky fans who,
Yeah.
we sort of knew something was happening, and we were quite happy to watch these little sort of bits going on. But I think sort of a regular viewer has sort of found the first 3 episodes a bit slow, which, yeah, it's not my criticism, but I can maybe understand where that's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But I think from now, this fourth episode would have just been an eye opener to a lot of people, and I think it's gonna zip along now. I think it really is. And I've seen, again, it's don't know if it's rumors online that the episodes are going to start getting longer. Apparently,
Yeah, I saw that too.
coming in time.
And
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. I also saw one thing, honestly, about 10 minutes before we started recording this, that apparently there's now an episode 10.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
So
Where's that come from?
I'll try to find the tweet again, but it was it was just a quick thing. It said it was. Here, let me try to actually pull up my profile. 'Cause I'm almost positive I liked it. Oh, oh no, did I not? Wow, there's just been a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of
Oh
stuff happening
yeah,
at the moment, isn't there? Yeah.
I don't think I can find it right now. That's unfortunate. I think they deleted it. But however,
So,
it was just something saying a character was confirmed for episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10, and we've only been confirmed for 9 episodes.
yeah, yeah. That's
So
interesting.
yeah, I I'd be happy to see a secret 10th episode. Maybe that'll be like the direct link we get. Like maybe the series will actually like kind of solve itself more or less in episode 9, and maybe this episode 10 will basically just be our bridge to the movie.
Yeah. Again, I'll be up for that.
Yeah.
But going back, I mean, the running times. I, when I'm enjoying something, I always think, oh yeah, I could have done with an extra 10, 15 minutes of that or whatever. But then you look back and you think, a good 20. I mean, I think they're only about 20, 25 minutes. Sort of, if you take the credits off.
Yeah.
Um, when you get that sort of length, it generally the episode sort of goes a lot. Obviously, goes quicker, but it's gets to the point straight away. That, there's not much. You don't have to have
Yeah.
filler time in there. So, as much as I do want, I want to see more of the program. I think it needs to be it needs to be properly fit. The episodes need to be properly filled, and if that means they're only going to be 20, 25 minutes long, then I'm okay with that. Um, but I suppose we'll see. We'll see what happens in
Yeah,
terms of that. So
it's only good things to come from this show, at least for the viewers. Maybe not for the people involved. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, Vision.
that's true. Yeah, he's alive. He's fine. He's alive.
Yeah,
This week he's alive in
yeah.
my head.
He's alive-ish.
Next week, yeah, next week I'll probably think he's dead. But,
We'll see how big the hole in his head is next week.
Oh, that was quite a scary image, though.
Ooh, yeah.
I've seen it in I've seen it in Infinity War, and it didn't get to me at all. But that it was like, whoa, shit, that's quite scary. That
Yeah.
that's that. I can understand why Wanda looked away.
Well, like I feel like a bit of an idiot just thinking back to me watching this because like again like it's 3 a.m. for me when I'm watching them. So I was sitting there and right before like Vision walks in right after Wanda's fixed everything, and I kept pausing it there because I was like, oh, hold on, Vision's gray, he's not red. So I was like pausing and I was like looking, I was like, oh my god, maybe like am I gonna be the first person to like figure out that Vision's dead? And then it cuts back to Monica and I was like, oh yeah, they aren't gonna explore this, like I'm totally bringing this up on the podcast. First cut back, I'm like just had a heart attack. I was like, okay. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it was. That's what's sort of taken me with WandaVision. That it's been quite at times. I don't want to say scary because I haven't been sat there scared, but there's been moments of horror, like horror scenes. I mean, the beekeeper bit, the way they sort of set that scene in episode 2, it was quite scary moment. And similar with this bit with the sort of the grey vision, it was like just again the way they shot it, it just came across as like a scary moment, which has been quite like them little bits in.
If that's the kind of horror they're going for Doctor Strange, I'm all for that. I think that creepy horror honestly is a lot more
surely that's
memorable.
why they brought Sam. Yeah, surely that's why they brought Sam Raimi in. I mean,
that's what I was thinking.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it just seems like a perfect match because that's what they talked about, hadn't they? This is even before Sam Raimi came on. I think that it was going to be a horror.
Yeah,
they were going to go into sort of the horror genre for Doctor Strange too.
Yeah, and they even had the Scott Derrickson, who I think he's still staying on like part of the production, but he's not directing anymore. Not even partially directing at all.
Yeah.
So.
And then when they brought Sam Raimi, it's like, yeah, of course, he did Spider-Man, he's done all that horror stuff, Evil Dead, brilliant. Yeah, get him on board. Yeah. This is going to be brilliant. Yeah,
I quite like his horror stuff too.
Well, my one of my best friends got me into the Evil Dead. He was the Evil Dead, and I'm not massively into horror, but he was like, you got to see them. You got to see them.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what the first one? Well, what's the first one? Then definitely watch the second one. You have to watch the second one. I was like, all right, well, like, how does it go on from there? Well, it's basically just the same. Well, why am I watching the second? What do you mean it's the same? So the first one's just a redo, but they call it Evil Dead. Well, that doesn't even make sense. Just watch the first one. Watch the second. All right, okay. It's brilliant. I'll watch the first one. Watch the second one. How it's basically a remake, but they're both awesome. It's just brilliant. So I'm all for Sam Raimi because, to be honest, them Spider-Mans are my favourite as well. As much as I like Tom Holland, I like Andrew Garfield, although his films were shit.
Yep.
That's shit. They weren't good. But I grew up with the original Spider-Mans. Certainly the first two Tobey Maguire ones, absolutely brilliant. And I'll put that down to Sam Raimi. Apparently he's a big comic book fan. So to me, perfect match for Doctor Strange 2. If it needs to be horror, I think he's the man to do it. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
As am I. And I don't know about you, but I think I'm all good for this week.
Yes, I think it might just be worth mentioning that we may have. I think we're going to get this out, Tom, aren't we? But we may, because Zach hasn't been able to join us.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, we might. If Zach gets his internet sorted, we might do a little catch up with Zach later on in the week, perhaps, and get it out there. So it's up to you, Zach. If you can get that sorted, we'll see if we can get an edition.
All eyes on you. All right. Thanks
Yeah.
for tuning in, guys, and hope you all have a great week.